City Current, hosted by Josh Meny, produced by Dakota Media Access. Find it on freetv.org or watch on Government Access Channel 2 or in high definition on 602. Always local, always current.
Hi, I'm Josh Meny, and this is City Current, a source for information regarding the policies and procedures of city government. On this edition, we will discuss the Office of Code Enforcement in Mandan. The Office of Code Enforcement interprets and enforces municipal, property maintenance, housing, and zoning codes. Here are the major common code enforcement violations. Tallgrass. A city ordinance requires grass and weeds on properties to be maintained under a 6-inch height. This can be accomplished by routine mowing and trimming of tall grass and weeds, including around structures, poles, and other objects. Noxious weeds. Residents are required to cut or spray weeds to prevent growth. There are currently 11 plants on the noxious weed list. To view the list, visit nd.gov/NDDA/weed. Junk and rubbish. The accumulation of junk and rubbish on any property is prohibited. Items may include, but are not limited to, trash, animal waste, yard clippings, junk or wrecked vehicles, unused construction materials, automobile tires, broken equipment, and automobile parts. Some of these items may be stored within a structure, such as a shed or garage, as long as the materials do not violate fire code. Blocking sidewalk or street. Sidewalks, streets, and alleyways must remain clear of obstacles that may prevent public use. Cars, boats, campers, or any other item may not block the street or sidewalk. Extended parking on city streets. City residents are also reminded that vehicles may only be parked on public streets for up to 48 hours at any given time in residential neighborhoods, 24 hours in commercial or industrial districts. This includes portions of the downtown area restricted to 90 minutes. To report property maintenance concerns, call the Code Enforcement Office at 701-667-3250 or complete the Report a Concern form at www.cityofmandan.com. Now that we've defined the main code enforcements, listen to Chief Jason Ziegler explain the value of the Office of Code Enforcement.
Central access point means that all the reporting goes to one location. Prior to having a code enforcement officer, if a code report came in, the weeds would go to the fire department. If it was a parking violation or an unsightly vehicle that was illegally parked, it'd come to the police department. If it was something where there was a mowing or something like that that needed to be done, it would go to Public Works. Central access point means it all comes to one location. Our code enforcement officer then filters through it. We'll disperse it to other parts of the city that needs to take care. Like if it's mowing, we'll take it down to the city shop and they'll go out and they'll mow. But the code enforcement officer will actually assess any fines or civil citations due to that violation. It all comes to one location. We're able to handle it and deal with it. And plus, by doing it that way, you see a more rapid response with code violations than if it is farmed out to other departments throughout the city.
Now that we understand that code enforcement is a more efficient means by which the city can centralize the implementation of code enforcement, we should address the issue of providing code order to our elderly, disabled, and disenfranchised residents.
If we come across a property that has some type of violation, if they're elderly, disabled, in some way not through their own fault, unable to help, we will try to work with them to the best of our ability if we're able to reach out. So there have been times where I've helped some of the elderly members of our community clean their property. I'll bring in a truck and I'll help load it up. There are other times where I might be able to get in touch with certain services or maybe civic groups that can help them maybe clean their property or take care of their yard. And I try to be a resource facilitator and trying to get those type of individuals into contact with those that can help them the best while trying to get compliance on the property.
Furthermore, the Mandan Police Department is strengthening the communication lines between resident and officer through many channels. but the Office of Code Enforcement is certainly a powerful channel for doing so.
There is a huge community outreach portion to this program. Most people don't have violations on their property on purpose. A lot of times they may not even realize, they may not even know that there is a particular issue on their property. And so being able to reach out to property owners, whether by mail, by phone call, sometimes I may leave just a simple note on their door, say, hey, give me a call. And I try to walk the person as much as they're willing through the process, explain what our code requires, why we do this. I always like to explain why, not just say you have to do this, but there is a reason. We are looking out for the safety, the health, and the well-being of the community, not just on your property, but throughout the whole neighborhood. And that's usually very receptive. Most people are receptive to that concept. And if I can work with the property owner, we usually, more times than not, have a voluntary compliance, and we resolve matters pretty quickly.
In addition to code enforcement working with residents, the greater goal is to have residents work within themselves to establish order and peace within their neighborhoods.
The biggest thing that what we really want to do is really open the line of communications in neighborhoods. We want to have neighbors talk to each other. I often ask when somebody calls, have you tried talking to your neighbor? Because a lot of times it's just as simple as going over, knocking on your door, introduce yourself if you've never had a chance to meet your neighbor. And just, hey, this is an issue, I saw this, is this something we can take care of? Can I help you take care of it? A lot of times that can go a long way and not only take a little bit off of my plate in reaching out, but really build a stronger community that everybody's going to benefit from.
Finally, before we end this segment, make sure you're aware that code enforcement is constantly evolving.
Law is fluid by nature. It changes. It changes from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. And so with our ordinances and stuff, they're going to change over years. And our goal is to get the best ordinance that gives us the best quality of service to the citizens as we can.
Thank you for spending time with us on City Current. Be sure to tune into government meetings by viewing Government Access Channel 2 and 602 HD on Mid-Continent Cable. Or enjoy government meetings anytime via video on demand streaming at freetv.org. Also, listen to government meetings on Bismarck and Mandan's first and only community radio station, KDAC 102.5 FM, which can also be accessed at kdacfm.org. This is Josh Meny signing off for another edition of City Current, presented by Dakota Media Access. Thanks for watching.
City Current, hosted by Josh Meny, produced by Dakota Media Access. Find it on freetv.org or watch on Government Access Channel 2 or in high definition on 602. Always local, always current.